What's up, guys? It's Sunset Arts. Today I'm Radio. We have
Aaron. Who are you tomorrow?
Radio.
Still Drake? Okay.
I'm still Radio.
I'm Jacob.
Today we are going to be basically reviewing season 5 of Game of Thrones or Game of Thrones.
Yes, we are.
But yeah. What do we think about this season, guys?
Well, for me, I've always found that every season of Game of Thrones gets better. Every season. And to end,
Every season.
to to end season 5 like this, I just thought, you know what?
It makes
It's
sense.
living up. It's still hyped, and I'm loving it. A lot of interesting stuff going on this season.
Jacob?
I think I disagree a little bit that they've been getting better. I'd
A
say
lot of people have been saying they're getting worse.
perhaps the climax was better at the very end on the season
Like,
finale.
holy
Perhaps.
But the
shit.
average episodes were poorer this season.
There was a lot of filler.
This season had a very
much
slow
Stannis.
start.
Stannis is a boring
It
person.
was just like it was snowing everywhere, so like the Boltons were in Winterfell pretty much doing nothing. I mean, nothing
Well, yeah, it was.
action-wise. Obviously, the
Stannis
story's
was
moving
doing
ahead.
nothing too until the very end.
Stannis is camped out in the middle.
Jamie wasn't doing
they're at
anything until the very
Castle
end.
Black, and then they get stuck out in the winter storm.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, we'll talk about that when we
so
actually
there was
go
a
through
lot
the
of
storyline.
inactivity and just dialogue, story progression, kind of. The first 4, possibly 5 episodes were remarkably slow. It was a little difficult
Yes.
to watch. It definitely picks up
Yeah.
at the end of the season. And I think it kind of partially justifies how slow the beginning of it was because it does do a good job of setting up everything that happens.
Definitely.
All of the main storylines. It does a good job of setting all that up.
Agreed. They're necessary.
Yeah. It's a
Definitely.
necessary evil.
All right, so let's get into the storylines. Let's go like least significant to the most significant. What was the first one we were going to talk about first?
Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah, Brienne of Tarth was like barely in the show at all. Obviously in the beginning she was shown a lot with her running into Sansa and Littlefinger.
Right. And Sansa doesn't trust her.
Yeah,
Basically, she says, you weren't able to save my mother.
which
and
she
my
couldn't have done
family that
anything. I mean,
were
come on.
killed at the Red Wedding. I mean,
But
she could not have done
imagine
anything
if
about
Brienne of Tarth was at the Red Wedding.
that. If Brienne of Tarth was at the Red Wedding,
She would have died,
Brienne
but
of Tarth would be dead.
yeah, but she would have wrecked a lot of people.
She would have taken a crossbow to the skull like everyone else did at the Red Wedding.
Okay, whatever. Who cares? No one likes your opinion now.
She pretty much spent most of the season either
Watching the
wandering
tower.
around or watching Winterfell, the
Yes.
broken tower at Winterfell.
Even so, I think it was a little childish on Sansa's part not to heed her advice even a little. You know, anyone knows that Brienne's a damn good fighter.
She killed the
And-
Hound, technically.
Technically,
Killed the Hound
And
is dead.
regardless
Exactly.
of her failure to commit her problem, maybe she's not a knight anymore.
She was.
by
I don't think she was
anyone
ever a
else's
knight.
Standards.
Not technically.
Yeah, she technically was never a knight.
But regardless, she's
Joffrey offered
she's a
it. though.
good she's a good fighter, and she could protect pretty much anyone.
Oh, then let's get into Sansa then. Even or Sansa. That's like the next kind of storyline, I think, because it kind of connects to it a
Well,
little.
before we get too far ahead, there's one thing that really bothered me
What?
with the Brienne storyline at the end when
Oh,
she heads
Stannis?
off to go and kill
Yeah, we
Stannis Baratheon.
did see Stannis die, so Stannis could. I mean,
They
she.
wanted you to. I think they definitely. It's very possible that he's dead.
Yeah, but they can also.
they
She
left
can
that
also
door
use
open.
him to get
Um,
Sansa back and fulfill her debt.
But
Right.
why couldn't her squire, whose name is escaping me for some reason,
Stay there.
why couldn't he stay and watch the tower? He was not with her when she went to Stannis.
Yeah,
He was
I don't-
not there.
I don't
My
know.
theory is that it's possible.
Or
That really bothered me.
Maybe
didn't
he
know
was
about
there
it. They
then.
didn't
Maybe he
know about
was
the tower.
there because you didn't see her, and then he sees, and then maybe that's when
I don't know. It shows.
Okay,
both
well,
of them
let's get into the
walking off.
Stannis. Let's get into or the Sansa.
Okay.
Sansa.
Alright.
Let's get into Sansa. Sansa obviously was with Littlefinger in the beginning. Her aunt dies because
Gets murdered.
yeah, she gets thrown. Oh, and
Falls
yeah,
a long way.
yes, and then
The Sky Door, I think that's called. Sky
yeah,
something.
and then Littlefinger's like, hey,
Skyfall.
if you want to be part of you want to be the war or what's the warden, but the female version of that.
Wardeness.
Wardeness.
Wardeness of the North, you would have to go marry Bolton's son Ramsay, and she has no idea what she's getting into.
Exactly.
But we do.
Yes.
And we know
We've
that
seen
this
for
could end
Yes.
very badly.
right.
So
we've
let's-
known for at least a full season that Ramsey Bolton is crazy.
As yes,
He's
he's a
insane.
Psychopath.
probably the closest thing to Joffrey is crazy wise.
Yeah.
Maybe
that
even,
that
maybe even worse.
Uh,
In terms of torturing.
Joffrey
no, I don't
Joffrey
know.
tortured people.
yeah.
Joffrey did.
Joffrey was so bad to the point
And
he made
then-
other people torture people and just watched.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
suppose.
Well, let's get in. Let's go. And then she goes there. She meets Ramsey, and then what's her name? Ramsey's little girl gets jealous, obviously.
Oh, boy.
But then they
Oh,
get
yeah.
married, and then that one night, the first night.
And
together,
he's trying to antagonize her like the entire
Yeah.
in the lead up to the wedding.
Right.
Um,
Foreshadowing there.
Yeah.
and then they have their little first night together, and a lot of people were upset about that actually.
Yeah, that was a really controversial
And
wedding night.
Reek
I-
was in the room as well. Don't forget that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't
to
want to
make it-
remember that.
Worse.
It was so bad that I don't want to remember that. It was terrible.
Reek had a lot of moments where he could have redeemed himself in this season, but he didn't.
Right.
He could have literally killed Ramsey while he was about to enter her, technically.
I think so.
But yeah, and then she has that struggle, with I guess
She's basically once again she went from being a prisoner in King's Landing to essentially being a prisoner in Winterfell.
Yep.
She's locked in the room.
yeah she had like that kind of rise, like she was like starting to like play the game, and
With Peter
then
Baelish, yeah.
she gets torn back
Right,
down.
Yeah. Once she escapes with Littlefinger,
Yes.
and she's like learning the ropes of the Game of Thrones, and then gets immediately thrown back.
To the
and she becomes
to
a prisoner
dirt.
again.
Her
Yeah.
chances are a little better if Brienne decides to use Stannis as a bargaining chip, which is, I think that's what's going to happen ultimately.
no, I don't think that's no, because why would Boltons want to? They outnumber her, so I don't think that's a smart decision.
I think they would rather have Stannis' head than have Sansa as.
Nah,
No, they
no.
need Sansa.
They need Sansa.
Otherwise, they're just the Boltons.
Yeah, they're just the Boltons. They need Sansa's blood. They
They
need
would-
Sansa
they need a
and
son.
Ramsey to make a kid.
They need a
That
son.
that would that
They
that's
need
like
a
Jurassic
Stark
Park right
son.
there. No.
Alright.
But yeah, so then she tries to escape. Well, she finds out there's people that still care, but then they get killed in the process.
Yep.
And then Theon rats her out. And then you get to the end of that, I guess to the end of the season where, she's trying to escape. She lights the tower.
She goes
And then,
puts the candle in the tower herself. which
but
is
then this
something
goes to the
Theon
argument of,
did.
like, maybe he was there. And then I was thinking, like, you were saying that now. I was thinking that maybe he was there and then he was running out to them and saw them jump. And maybe that's where they're going to leave off the next season with them together, them three together. They survive the jump somehow. He helps them out. And they get away. For now.
For now.
And so Ramsey's like,
That
I
was-
smell your blood. Okay, I'm gonna go get you now. You know what I mean?
That was a really far fall. That was a long way down.
There's snow there, so we'll see.
Who
We'll
knows
see what
how-
happens.
Who knows how
We'll
deep
see
that
what
snow
happens. We'll
was,
see what
okay?
happens. No one. I don't. This storyline was pretty boring for me. So, let's get to the next one. And that was what was the next one we were gonna talk about? Oh, Jamie. Jamie gets sent off by Cersei's to go get their daughter.
Right? Yeah. So he's trying to improve his standing with Cersei because Cersei's super pissed at him.
Which is dumb.
We all think that's dumb because
I don't like.
Well,
everyone-
Jamie should be
everyone in their
dead by
right
now,
mind
anyways. I don't like
knows
Jamie.
that Cersei is
Well, Jamie was the
absolute
one that,
evil.
that let Tyrion out of his cell.
Yes.
And then Tyrion went and killed their father, and so Cersei directly blames Jamie for that, for having
Okay.
sympathy for the dwarf brother.
Yeah.
I suppose, but Jamie knows that
Okay.
Tyrion's not.
Yeah. Let's get away from that though. Like that was last season. Let's get into this season though.
So he
Because
goes
that's
off,
not, I mean that's not that big of like he's just
Sure.
repaying his debt
in
now.
order to win.
That's all it is.
In order to win Cersei back, he gets on a ship, takes Bronn with him,
Uh-huh.
and like buys Bronn again, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, he
And,
kind of
uh,
screws him. It's like, well, guess what? I'm gonna blackmail you if you don't help me. So,
That's true.
but yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, they get to
Go to Dorne.
Dorne. They run into the three daughters, right? Of what's his name, that dies.
Yes, when they find Jamie's daughter,
Mm.
she's in the garden with her boyfriend, which is a prince of Dorne,
Yes.
which is a little ironic, I guess, because the two families have hated each other ever since Oberyn's sister.
Yeah, but the
was
king of
killed.
Dorne or whatever, the Lord of Dorne, he's like he knows the end game. Like they need each other though. Like they rather have peace and less no lives taken.
Right. Yeah.
That's a smart. I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you get into it, then the poisoning of. Oh, obviously Jamie gets the approval to take them back technically, and then also takes his son to become part
Right.
of the.
That was the condition
council.
for Braun being set
Yes.
free and for being able to leave peacefully. Essentially.
Yes.
And a nice
Was
fist to the face.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
But
The son has to be part of. Traditionally, there was a family member of the royal family of Dorne that was on the King's Council.
yes.
And so that has to be restored. So the prince that is sent back
Is-
promised
has
that
to,
seat.
has to be on.
But then in the process,
Council.
someone gets kissed, and then someone has an antidote, and someone doesn't. And that's what. But then before that, Jamie has a moment with his daughter, telling her, I'm trying to tell you something, but it's really complicated. But she's like, you know what? I know you're my dad. So that was kind of cool. Kind of gave Jamie a moment, and then she
immediately
yeah,
collapses.
she dies.
Yeah, her nose starts bleeding.
Yeah.
Which is sad because like the connection with like he's like tells her like most of these arranged marriages are they don't go well,
Right.
and he was happy that they
They're
actually
happy together.
they loved each other technically.
Yeah.
But now the situation with that is what happens now after that, like obviously he has to fulfill that.
Right. He still has the prince with him
Yes.
on the boat.
Like that's another thing. Like
I don't think he can turn around.
like I
No
mean.
chance.
You said he should kill him, or he might kill him, and I was like, that would be his first thing. He would probably be really mad.
It would be a
But
huge
then-
mistake, but
yes,
I think that would
But
be
in
Jamie's first
the
thought.
long run is that I need to keep him alive. He probably knows that he had nothing to do with it, because obviously they loved
he knows
each other.
that he cared for
Yes.
his daughter. Yeah.
But also like he can't hurt him because like that's gonna hurt the relationship between them and Dorne, and that's another war that they don't need. And Jamie's kind of like, obviously he likes killing people, but like he's not going to start another war.
There's
yeah.
enough of those running around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much, I guess, I don't know what's going to happen with that. That's going to be interesting how that works. But yeah. Let's get in. You
Next.
guys,
I think in the long run that will permanently separate him and Cersei.
I'm hoping
Because
for
that
both of them
was
to die.
his one chance of redeeming himself in her eyes was bringing her back,
Yep.
and now he can't. He
Failed.
cannot do that.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens with let's get into Cersei's now. Her storyline.
The High Sparrow.
Yeah, she promotes this High Sparrow guy, this religious fanatic, that was basically nothing, gives him all this power, and it turns on her.
Essentially
'Cause-
gives him power to just over.
But-
they have their own courts.
Yes, so they used him. She used him to get rid of the
The
Tyrells, like Queen Marjorie and her brother. They both get basically in prison, and then she gets in prison because of her sins.
Right.
And then it shows the rest of the season, the last part of the season, her struggle of being in prison, and obviously Tommen doesn't even want to go see her either, which is
Tommen won't even talk to anyone. He just
yeah,
locks himself in.
which is
their
crazy.
room.
Like I don't know what's wrong with that little kid, but yeah,
They only showed Marjorie
like in the
once, I think,
yeah.
in the cell.
Yep.
Cersei came and saw her.
yeah.
She was not doing too well.
Right.
But
yeah.
then Cersei, in result, that's what
I thought it
took
was super intense when the lady would walk in with
Oh yeah,
water.
yeah.
Confess. And
Yeah.
like just day after day, and then dump the water out on the ground.
Yep.
I mean, talk about some intense interrogation there. I mean, she's
Seeing
probably
someone so
been
high
without
in
water for
status,
weeks.
drinking water
Right.
off
Then
the
she
ground.
crawls. She crawls over to where.
But it shows how, like Aaron was talking about, like how weak she is. She's
Yeah,
really that weak.
She's licking.
She is.
She's literally licking water off the ground.
Yeah. So then, she confesses most of her sins. She lies about her
Just
and Jamie.
part of it, yeah. But she.
But
does
that was the
still
most
lie.
important part, is that she lied about her and Jamie, but is also released. But also has the High Sparrow's like, oh, you're gonna have a trial. So, but like, to be honest with you, she goes back. She goes through the city
She had
naked.
to walk.
They cut her
long
hair.
way.
Very long.
But yeah, then she's like, there's not gonna be a trial.
What do you think? Well, what do you think of like the length of that scene?
That was too long.
You think it was too long?
I was like, well, why
It
are we
was-
just
I was
walking?
cringing the whole time. I was just
See,
like, really?
I think.
Man.
Oh, you
I
wanted
think
her to
it
die?
had to be- well, I did want someone to come out of the crowd and kill her, but I think the length of that scene served a purpose where they were trying to invoke you to feel bad for her. Like at first,
I didn't feel
walks
bad
out
for her at
and
all.
You're like, you feel like she
That-
deserves what she's getting.
This is-
which I felt the whole way through, but I feel that
I don't feel bad at
they
all.
wanted at the end
No.
to be like that
There are
scene was so
tears
long
and
for the
ugh.
point where you start to feel bad for her. That scene
So-
was so long.
So then this goes into like this is like their twist of making you guys like Jamie because I don't like Jamie at all, and like I don't think they're gonna make people like Cersei's, but I don't like that they're trying to make him first. So I want her dead. I want Jamie dead. The
Death to all
the
Lannisters.
only Lannister I want alive is Tyrion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Tommen, but that's
Tommen's
really,
alright.
Tommen's all right. But yes, like I hate both of the characters because he's doing something for her that's a bad character, and like why are you doing this for a bad person? Like that's why reason why I hate Jamie.
Does
That's
he
why I
deserve
want
to
him dead.
die for that though?
Yes,
he
he's
already
stupid.
deserved to die.
He's done a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
But-
I hate when people defend him. Like, oh, he's awesome. No, he's not. He's a terrible person.
I would
Deserves to die.
I would have killed him when he was
Yeah.
captured by Robb Stark.
I would have killed him definitely.
I would have killed him.
Because like
Yeah.
you
But-
don't know if Arya's alive, and then Sansa. Okay, I mean, Sansa for Jamie. Jamie's a little bit more up there than Sansa. She's just a little girl. I mean, I would have killed him.
I definitely would have killed
Like
him.
Robb-
but
Robb-
he has grown on me since.
Yeah.
I mean, helping out
Yeah.
I think we're
Brienne of Tarth.
backtracking
Yeah.
a
Let's
little
just
bit
go
there,
ahead though.
but Cersei's story, that's basically where it ends. But the
We
next,
should get into
Who-
next
Stannis.
interesting.
It's like what she's gonna do. Who knows
either
what she's gonna do?
Stannis or Tyrion and.
Well, let's
Probably
get into Stannis. Stannis probably.
Stannis.